What's up, my Gerks? Wanted to do a react with you. I found this guy streaming on the YouTube and the Twitch yesterday. Thought he was pretty smart, pretty cool. And he mentioned he came out with a video, Ines nerfs won't change anything. And I have some decently strong, mild opinions on the topic, and I thought it'd be fun just to react to a fellow creator and see how he feels about the changes before they go live. So without further ado, we're gonna be watching AlisaTFD. I will link the video in the description below. And if you guys want to, watch the video and support him, comment, like on it, subscribe to him, be my guest. So let's start the video.
Let's talk about Ines's nerfs. Let's get on it.
Let's make sure quality's
also,
high
I
up.
apologize, I don't have any Ines gameplay, so we're using old Purge 17 gameplay.
This doesn't look good so far.
I'm sure you guys will forgive
okay.
me. But more importantly, let's talk about Ines getting nerfed. Does she actually need to be nerfed?
Yes, she needs to be nerfed. She does. I'm gonna answer that right now.
Yes. If you think
good, we agree.
Then you are not thinking about the greater balance of this game. Ines
True
is a force to be reckoned with.
She's crazy.
Within Purge, well, within the earlier level of Purge, all the way up to around about Purge 27, now is the absolute limit.
People keep saying that. People literally keep saying that. They say Ines is good up until about 27. I felt like mine quit being good at like 22. Like, I don't know. I had to swap. But if his made it to 27, he's got a better Ines than me.
Limit with all skill-based descendants before.
I wish I could make this video look better. It says 1080p, but the bitrate's really low.
There is one very, very niche thing about her.
Okay, the niche thing is, and yes, I see you in the chat recording for YouTube. Love you so much. We will respond to everything at the end of the react. Ines can kill the entire room and the next room and the previous room spawns while running the fastest in the game. That's her niche. Let's see if he says it.
Let's talk about her first and her fourth ability. Now, her first ability...
Oh, and it all goes through walls. Well, that's the big part.
She'll always be able to use this. She has a passive ability which allows
infinite mana
MP back on critical hit when every single hit...
Wait, is that why she has infinite mana? Oh, I thought it was just low. I thought it just cost a little. I didn't realize it was every time you crit, you just got refunded. That makes more sense. Okay.
The first ability is a critical hit anyways, and your fourth ability, it tends to make life quite easy, especially with all of this MP buff. Now, with all of this, this is just her first ability. Her fourth ability will cast a circle of plasma, which, will
pretty OP.
Delete everything around it. Got a pretty big radius, instant effect. Was a massive issue for people who didn't have access to cooldown, but
dude, it was a massive effect for people that didn't have high-end computers. You get 4 Ineses in a 400%, or like in not hard purge, in void vessel, you straight up would like lag out the entire screen. Like, you would lag the whole thing out. It was people could not play at all.
Oh, sorry, access to put their graphics down. But now that's been fixed, so we're not going to go on over that anyways.
It's fixed, but like it's not fixed. People still have issues with it, okay? I mean, I know we're saying that people don't have issues with it because it's not as bad as it was, but it is still just as terrible for people on systems probably that are 30 series and below.
But Ines in herself is a monstrous descendant. Now, of course, power creeping is going to exist in this game regardless, and nerfs and buffs will come and go as they please.
You know, he's right. Power creep will exist because this is a gacha game. But it's not a gacha game because they actually do nerfs and buffs. In gacha games, they don't do that at all.
Please. Now, I do always say that this is a PvP game. Why on earth would you nerf any descendant?
That's a good point. But it doesn't really matter because if people are playing for the PvE and there's no challenge to the PvE, or no one can beat the PvE, no one's going to play the game, right? Like, you don't want to play a Descendant and be thinking the whole time you play them, if I just use the Nez, this would be so much faster. That's how I feel with Valby right now. I want to use Valby, but if I'm not on a Nez, I don't get to do damage. I don't get to see numbers. So, like, then I got to play a Nez, right?
until Ines existed. Now, Ines, in her standard nature, is a very dominant style of descendant, not dominatrix. That is a different thing. All of you need to get your
Whoa.
mind out of the gutter and learn that this is a freaking game. But Ines is
It's not a game, bro. It's a way of life.
generally very strong and very dominant in her abilities. As soon as she puts her fourth ability down, you can say goodbye to 99% of the enemies inside of that circle. When she uses her first ability,
Bro, what's crazy about her is that it has the circle that kills everybody, and then for some reason there's a second circle that's even bigger that kills all those people too. Like, it's weird.
you can, again, more likely say goodbye to basically everything that ability hits. Now, Ines, if you did not know, was literally buffed inside of one of the last patches as well. So
She
this
got
was
buffed?
a descendant that Nexon deemed worthy of buffing not too long ago. If you have a look on screen
Really?
right now, you will see that when the last dagger and the relic got buffed, Ines got buffed as well. Now, Ines,
I feel like this wasn't necessarily a buff. This was a bug fix. Because it wasn't, I don't know. I feel like her skill range not working with skill range modules was kind of weird.
his first ability was
I felt like
the
that
one
was kind of weird.
that got changed, and then her second ability also got a little bit of a change as well. However, let's talk about whether this nerf is actually going to make a difference, and my answer is straight up absolutely not. Now,
I agree. And I want to say why I think it's not going to work before he says it. Number one reason, they're nerfing her, except she's still going to be OP unless they change how she fundamentally works, i.e., remove her speed buff and remove the infinite chaining. The second reason, probably even the bigger one, is arcade tuning. If you're gonna lower her or if you're gonna increase her cooldowns, make her do less damage, make things cost more mana, well, you can just use arcade tuning to fix those issues. I mean, not the biggest, but the last one is this is a base descendant. So is Haley. They should not be better than ultimates. And if we nerf them down to be worse than ultimates, when their ultimate comes out, they'll just be back up to OP because their stats will just be straight up better, or they'll get some broken red module that completely changes the way you play them. If she's nerfed, it will be for a very, very short time. You know, as soon as the ultimate comes out, we're screwed. But I really think the arcade tuning is going to completely alleviate this issue. I also think she didn't really need a nerf when we're moving away from lightning weak enemies. We're going away from a toxic boss, and we're literally swapping elements. So she's going to suck against the new main boss, which Ines was amazing at on this patch. And they're moving away from electric weak enemies in general, so she shouldn't be as strong. But let's see what he has to say.
now, Ines not having access to delete enemies through walls only means that you're probably going to have to just put one extra health module on in order to survive. As soon as you walk into the room, you can still cast your fourth ability.
It depends how they do it. So if an enemy's behind a box and none of your abilities hit that enemy, that will be really freaking annoying. It would make it feel like you're shooting a gun. But that could be fair. I don't like that her one goes through walls. Like, I don't like that you can activate it through a wall. I think it'd be okay if it like bounced around and got around the wall, but I don't like that you just straight launch it through. Her four, I don't know that you could really stop it going through walls because it just damages everything in the region. That one probably wouldn't get affected. But her one not being able to just be spammed through walls would actually be kind of huge, and I don't think it would necessarily rein her in, but it would just be another thing that she has right now that's OP that would be gone. Like, I don't think it makes her not OP, but having it makes her OP, if that makes sense. It helps her be more OP.
You've just got to survive 1 second whilst casting it. That is literally the only difference. And it just means that you Ines players are going to have to dedicate a whole extra brain cell to basically just, walk into the room instead of standing outside the room to delete everything.
Also, a fair point before anyone comments on it. Currently, Luna also can just kill everything from behind a wall. Like, Ines is not the only one that can do this. Freyna can jump up and just shoot a poison bomb and then go hide behind a wall. Like, a lot of people can do this little lame mechanic, to be fair. But yeah, I don't know that it would change too much. I don't think it'd be that big of a deal to nerf that.
Inside of it. Now, this is coming at a very, very precarious time as well, because if you didn't know, within the same update, these funky little trees on screen right now are also coming into the game.
What
at
did
the
I
same
say?
time.
What did
And
I
based off what we
say?
know, these skill trees can buff everything,
And I'm coming up with this idea on my own too, without having to like look at chat or literally anything. If you know, you know. Bunny also just kills everything through walls. Her lightning bolts go through everything. So it'd be kind of weird to only nerf it on one character. Although they do want to buff Bunny. And people complain about Bunny the same way they complain about Ines. And I would still argue Bunny is more of a problem than Ines. But Bunny's best build for non 400% can only kill like 3 or 4 dudes at a time, not everyone at the same time. So maybe that's why they think she's balanced. But also, I have a build that does everything Ines does, where I just run through faster than the Ines. So I don't know. I don't know.
including your descendants HP, your weapons damage, and also your skill power output with these golden tree circle module things you see over here.
This is straight Path of Exile stuff right here.
Let me put this into perspective for you, just because I know some people are going crazy over this nerf. Looking at my comments, I have seen some pretty crazy things, but I'm going to go over them in a short minute. But just for reference, you are going to lose your ability to shoot your first ability through a wall, and your damage output of
Wait, does he know the nerf? Is the nerf live? Like, do we know exactly what the nerf is? Are we actually just losing the ability to shoot through walls, or is he just guessing? I actually don't know the answer to that.
the first ability will most likely be reduced. But you are literally going to be able to get like plus 30 skill power back from the tree anyways. And if
I don't need 30 skill power. I do 2 million damage a one. Like,
if you're really that upset about it, just run full strength on Ines and use the Slayer set, run the exact same build you're running now, and just run skill power on your tree.
can you imagine how broken Ines would be if you got the skill power buff with her current iteration? It would not be fun.
And it will basically be the exact same, if not maybe even slightly better. Now, people are worried that Serena's just going to power creep Ines, so on and so forth, but that is also...
How would Serena power creep Ines? She's a gun descendant. She has to shoot stuff. Like, your fastest chain kill is probably going to be on Restored Relic. And she's really slow. Like, I don't think she can get sprint speed buffs or whatever while she's flying, or like movement speed buffs. And like, yeah, I don't know. I don't see Serena being that crazy. I think she can do some cool stuff, but I think she's going to be not as efficient as other options just because she's slower, because she's flying.
So semi the nature of this game anyways. The newer descendant will always be the stronger one, but
You say that, but Keelan came out, and it was not the case with Keelan.
that is just something that's just going to come and go, and people are going to get over it over time. I don't think people are going to care too much. A lot of people are going to enjoy Serena. A lot of people...
You're neglecting the fact that this is most of the people's in the game's favorite waifu. She's the most stacked out of all the characters in terms of like even just the face. Her face just seems like it's kind of on par with Freyna, where it's like the highest resolution, best looking face in the game. People love this character, especially the voice and the accent. Like, people be a little irrational. Maybe you're not from gacha games as a background, but people go bananas about these characters. Like, it's their wife, and if you nerf their wife, bro, they're going to like try to get you killed. And that actually happened with it was either Honkai Star Rail or Genshin, where like CEO almost gets assassinated over stuff happening in the game. So people take this really seriously. It's actually crazy.
People are going to hate Serena. It's going to be a give and take regardless. So you just got to get back, get cozy, and enjoy the ride. Now, let me talk about Ines overall as a descendant. Like we said, when it comes to mobbing, she's amazing.
Yep.
If you are playing solo, you are not going to have any issues with Ines. She's great. She does a lot of damage. She will melt the elites with her first...
He said solo. He's probably going to mention it. We'll see. When you play with multiple Ineses, if they steal your lightning procs, you don't get plasma, then you don't get your 4, and it feels bad.
Ability is basically 1-4 and hold W, or hold forward and press R1X and R1 triangle simulator for 99% of the game. Now, this is the first simple thing about Ines. When it comes to bossing, I did do a tier list not too long ago, and this is an image of what my results were on screen. After more consideration...
Okay, let's look at this. I know he's probably about to change it. Glay best bosser. I need to make another Last Dagger with a bossing build to experience it because mine's meant for Purge. Yeah, I agree that Valby is amazing at bossing. Haley's great. Sharon, mine seems okay at it. I don't know that she's perfect, but Enzo's amazing in a group. I don't see how Luna makes it on the list. Frayne is awesome. I don't see why Lepic's on the list either. Someone could maybe enlighten me on that one. I think Viesa can do really well against some bosses. Yunjin's only for Deathstalker. I've never seen the either two even played. Ines is pretty much only good against a Filer. But, like, I think all these Descendants can one-shot the easy bosses, right? Bonnie sucks. Blair used to one-shot every boss there was. So I don't know why he's so low. Keelan, worst character in the game. Jaber's terrible. Yeah. For the most part, I agree with this list. Let's see what he's changing, though. I probably would move some stuff around, but...
I wouldn't even call Ines A tier.
Because I think you need... I think on this list, you need to differentiate solo versus group play. Some of these characters get dramatically better in group play.
I'd put her down in it's alright, and I would swap Bunny being up into Pog tier behind Kyle.
You'd swap Ines and Bunny? No shot. No shot. Of almost this says more about the weapons if Yunjin's up there, by the way. What weapons he thinks are OP. That's crazy. Ines is like so good at soloing Defiler. It's crazy.
Now, I know you're thinking, wow, you're just an Ines hater. Absolutely not. When it comes to Bunny, especially dealing with higher level bosses like the Deathstalker, Bunny is significantly...
That's the only boss Bunny's good against. What are we talking about here? That's like the only boss she's useful because she one-shots all the little orbs flying at you. But the other bosses, at least in solo, maybe she doesn't have damage in solo, but in multiplayer, she just does tickle damage. She's like Tickle Monster. She's Black Panther diving a bunch of healers when the healers can all self-heal. Like, no. I don't, my Bunny might not be strong enough for this to be accurate, but I'm confused.
More capable than Ines. Bunny has her second ability that can regenerate her shield, and going with a shield build and a supporting legacy or even a Smithereens means that...
So we're talking about playing Bunny in a tank build with a gun? That's not Bunny. That's something every Descendant can do. Ines can do the same thing. She's got an immortal shield build. Nah, I respect the play. I don't know. I'd have to see it to believe that it's better. I find it hard to believe.
That Bunny is much more capable than taking Deathstalker than Ines. Same with...
I feel like they're about the same. I think they can take them on the same. They both got the chain arcs that can take out everything pretty easily. They're pretty equivalent to each other.
With Gluttony, I literally have an entire video on my YouTube channel, which I will link in the description, of me and 3 other friends taking down pre-nerf Gluttony with nothing but bunnies. So, you know, Bunny is more capable, and her second ability is just significantly more useful than Ines's first, depending on the boss. Now, let's just talk about Ines for bossing. Like I said, she's C tier.
He covered himself there, depending on the boss. I will agree.
Around about there at best. Now, I know you'll be screaming, punching your mics, and uppercutting your...
Oh no, is he about to call me out? We're gonna I get caught in 4K?
Dads and killing your kittens in the corner or something like that. But let's hear me out. Ines is not bad at bossing. She's only good at bossing when it comes to the bosses that she's super effective against. That being the divine...
That's every Descendant that relies on skills, though. That's all of them. Also, like, characters have roles. Every character is just good at their role. I think the game's easy enough where, like, you can just solo and one-shot every boss with every Descendant, to be clear. I think they all can do it. So, it's not that she's right. She's not bad, even in his eyes. She's just not as good.
Devourer with a full strength build on a solo lobby, or if you are in a public lobby, it still works just as fine with the lower level bosses. With the higher levels, it might get a little bit more complicated. Swamp Walker, she's great against. Obstructor, great against. Defiler is no longer going to be in the game soon, and the Tormentor is an electric boss, so Ines is not going to be the best against that.
Yeah, she's going to suck against Tormentor.
Potentially it'll be Glare Last Dagger synergy, again, along with Enzo to buff if you are playing in squads or duos or anything higher, as well as 3 critical hit Frainers buffed by a Luna might also be another strat. We are waiting and seeing how this Tormentor goes. Execution with Drip.
So I think that means he put Luna so high because Luna is buffing, which makes me think that it's not for solo play.
Goes absolutely unfathomably hard, but let's get back to the main point.
Let's do it.
Ines is amazing at mobbing. She's amazing at mobbing solo, specifically. In a group is Ines's strong point as well, depending on the situation. Now, let me talk about Ines's situationship real quick. Now, Ines will be absolutely great in a group as long as there is not other Ineses inside.
True. But everything's dead anyway, so like you can use her still. Stuff's just, they're all just gonna die.
Of the group.
You know?
Ines falls apart when she's fighting against other Ineses.
Thanks for the follow, chat. You're live on YouTube. Yashika43, you're a real one.
If you get into a lobby with 3 Ineses and you're sitting there as a bunny, you're not going to have to worry because everything's going to get real funny when all these Ineses are fighting each other more than the enemy. Now, what I mean by that is if you see the big old pink bar, you gotta build your resources somehow with your second ability or with your first, and Ines will fight other Ines for said resource to cast their fourth ability to go fast. Bunny, just press your 2, run, call it a day. Or you don't even need your 2, just use a sprint speed weapon. Same would apply with Ines, you know, make sure to use a sprint speed weapon if you want to keep your moving up. But, you know, the biggest part here that Bunny...
Sprint speed weapons do actually work on Ines, that's huge.
And Ines are very, very back and forth. This might change it depending on the update. We're going to have to wait and see. So, Ines is great in a squad, great in a solo, okay at bossing. So, what is there? What is there left for me to say? Is the nerf going to change?
Here's what you say, buddy. Maybe they meant the nerf was to how she looks. Hear me out. They just don't give her any good skins. They make her assets smaller. They lower the resolution on what matters. And then people quit playing her. We don't have any issues.
Change anything? No, absolutely not. You're just stressing over nothing. Skill trees are going to fix everything regardless. The stronger descendants are going to be even stronger by a margin. The weaker descendants are going to be buffed up by a margin. And all is going to be good.
If the weak ones get buffed up a margin and the strong ones get buffed up the same margin, then nothing changes. Exactly. He's got a point.
If you disagree with anything I've said, please let me...
Which would mean Ines being nerfed is still a nerf. It's just everyone else is going to get stronger and Ines will stay the same.
You know, in the comment section below, because I've heard way too many people go into crazy comments like this that I'm going to put on screen right now about Ines being nerfed and stuff like that. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference.
These comments look like my comments, bro. These are crazy. Ines nerfed is bad decisions is a PvP game. How these nerfs are crybabies play. It's not a PvP game. What's the guy talking about? Soon those same crybabies going to want Serena nerf too. Yeah, man, Serena could fly. That's OP. They haven't seen Flying Bunny yet, apparently.
Nexon are not stupid enough to take down and just delete a lot of the charisma and the fan base around us.
Bro, you're going to quit the game over a nerf? We get new waifus every 3 weeks. What's the problem?
Specific descendant because she's a strong one. That was absolutely not happen. If it was a male descendant, maybe, but it's a female, so you know you're gonna get away with this, guys. Just relax, everything's gonna be okay. But yeah,
yo, the best thing they could do to buff the male descendants would probably be just to make all the male descendants female descendants. I think that would probably go huge. Let me know what you think in the comments below.
That's basically been this video. Hope you've enjoyed. If you did, please
I did enjoy.
If you like Ines, I don't know, comment that Ines has nice hair or something like that.
I'll do it. We'll do it live. Watch this. Ah! What happened? I don't even know how to type, bro.
Let's talk about
2 free views out of me right here. Ines has nice hair. Great video. All right, guys, that was AlisaTFD. Go, subscribe, like their video, whatever you want to do with them in the comments below. If you liked my reaction, give me a like, comment, follow, all the cool stuff. We are live multiple times a week over on the Twitch, the TikTok, and the YouTube. Much love. Keep Gerking it, and have a great night.